She was like, "Are you gonna be nervous for this? It's like a big deal, like podcast. Wow." And I'm like, "No, I just like I love to yap, and I'm with my best friend, and like I love the cameras, and I just love it all. So I'm excited. Thank you for having me."
Thank you for being on this podcast. Wait, I don't know if I'm liking the shorts.
Quick pause. I think it'd be really funny to make a bloopers at the end.
Bloopers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this mug. Are you kidding me? What would Dolly do? That's iconic. I'm just gonna keep it rolling. Is that fine?
Yeah, we'll keep it natural. Okay, hello guys. Welcome back to the God's Girl podcast. I have a very special guest today, my best friend, Natalia.
Hi guys. So happy to be here.
So happy to have you. On this episode, we are actually 2 years sober from alcohol.
Wait, is it 2 years for you like today?
2 years, November 4th. Yeah, 2 years sober from alcohol, November 4th.
Wow.
So this is a little celebration. But Natalia has been sober from alcohol for what?
951 days. That's 2 years. That's 2 years, 7 months, and 6 days, I think. The reason I know that is because I was filming a little Get Ready With Me. And so I checked into my... I'm not counting the days,
Oh,
guys.
wait, I think I still have that app.
It's so good.
Is it that sober app?
Yeah, it's called I Am. So whatever you want to be cleansed from, you want to take a break from, it's called I Am. And it has a bunch of different topics or categories like alcohol, caffeine, anything else. You can set it to whatever. And then it's just really nice. It like tracks it for you. So you don't even have to think
Did
about
I
it.
get you onto this app or did you get me onto this app?
I think I found it through TikTok.
That's crazy. 720 days.
Isn't it like kind of crazy to like look at the days? Because the years, it's like, okay, 2 years. But 720
Crazy.
days just sounds...
720 days of no alcohol. And honestly, I will say that app definitely helped me in the beginning because it just kept me very much accountable. So I think it was about like 3 years ago, the first time I ever got sober. It was your birthday. I'll take you guys back to the story.
Take us back. Paint the picture.
Was it 3 years ago or what year was that?
Dude, I think this was more than 3 years ago because I think this was either my 21st or my 22nd birthday.
It was the year after COVID.
So
it was
maybe
2021.
22nd birthday.
Your 22nd birthday and you're 26.
Mhm.
That's crazy. Okay, so basically 4 years ago was the first time I ever decided I needed to take a break from alcohol. And so I took like a 6-month break from alcohol and we went to ISU together. We come from a really like big drinking college.
Big.
And yeah, like blackout was the culture there. And I remember it was Natalia's birthday and I felt, now looking back, I know these were convictions from God, but at the time I just thought I needed to get sober. And so it was your birthday and you were actually so kind and gracious with me because everyone else was like, you're not drinking, like what's wrong with you? But you were actually like so good about it.
Yeah, because in my opinion, if somebody's making a decision for themselves, a friend should support that decision, especially if it's something that motivates them for a healthy, well-balanced lifestyle. I just think that like friends should be there to push you even further no matter what. And I remember we had like a bottle of 1942. Actually, I'm pretty sure that weekend we probably had 3 of those bottles. And it just was like such a crazy time. And not a lot of people talk about how normalized blackout culture is in college. Like that is not healthy. It's really sad that people, especially college students, think that that is normal and then they fall into that trap, that cycle. And so breaking away from that is just, especially at such a young age and everyone else around you is doing that. I thought that was incredible. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to support my girl. Hello. And little did I know it was planting seeds in me the whole time.
Okay, so that brings my first question. Like, what inspired you to get sober?
I think that there's always been a little bit of an inkling in me. You know, I grew up in the Polish culture and drinking and partying is just a part of the entire culture of it all. And then especially when you go to college and you're surrounded, and I was that girl that was like on the tables dancing, had the shots, had the alcohol. Okay, and I just want to preface, I am still that girl. I am still that girl dancing on tables and all that stuff, but like I am not I don't need the alcohol to do that anymore. And obviously life is a little bit different, so I don't
Mhm.
find myself in those situations. But if there was a situation where music was blaring, like, you don't need alcohol to be confident in who you are and have fun. So I just want to preface that. I think what motivated me and inspired me, obviously, like being friends with you and seeing you take that first leap. I don't think in the moment when I decided to go sober that was like in my mind, but I
Mhm.
think you definitely planted those seeds.
Mm.
And seeing you do it and just seeing you thriving through it all probably like made me think like, "Ooh, maybe I should do something like that." But my journey specifically, I think I had a very unhealthy relationship with alcohol. I mean, if you know, you know. And I had very scary moments in my college experience where
Mhm.
I was in relationships that I shouldn't have been in. I was just not who I wanted to be. I'm pretty sure you've had multiple conversations with me when it was at its worst. And like my now husband at the time was my boyfriend was telling me, like, maybe you should slow down a little bit. Or my other friends were telling me, it's never going to come from an external source. People can tell you over and over and over again, you have a problem, you have a problem, you need to slow down. This is not good for you. And you're just going to be like, dude, shut up. Like, really, you're not going to tell me how to live my life. I know I'm fine. Okay, so what? I black out. The next morning I wake up and I'll take a ibuprofen and I'll be good. Like, and that's truly how I lived my life until I just got this like little scratch, little inkling like, hey, I don't really want to drink right now. It's not really something that's for me anymore. And it was just kind of like a little thought that kept like ruminating in my
Mhm.
head.
Mhm.
And I remember I went on vacation with, at the time, was my boyfriend, Archie, shout out. And he was like, I'm gonna go to the bar. I remember this like it was yesterday. We were on the beach and he was like, I'm gonna go to the bar. Do you want a pina colada or like a mojito? And I'm like, nah, I don't think I'm gonna drink today. And then the next day, and he was like so shocked. He was like, what? We're on vacation. You don't want to drink? And I'm like, no, I just kind of want to chill, enjoy the waves, and just like enjoy my own peace without altering my state of mind.
Mhm.
And he was like, okay. That just kind of led on to the next day, the next day, the next day. And then I was like, okay, I did this for a week. I'm on vacation. Let me go home and see if I can do this for a month. And then I did
Mm.
it for a month. And then I was like, this feels really good. And then I was like,
Mhm.
let me see if I could do this for 6 months. And then I did it for 6 months. And I was like, let me push 1 year. And then it
Wow.
just it just kept going and going.
So the first time I got sober was her 22nd birthday. But then that was only 6 months and I started drinking again. But when you got sober again, it planted a seed in me to start getting sober.
Hmm.
And when I was thinking about this episode, there was a verse that really came to me because I feel like God has put us in each other's life for a very specific reason. I think there's many reasons. I think he wanted us to have each other to be sisters
Hmm.
walking this journey together. And I feel like with every phase of life, we've always been trying to be our best selves. And I
Hmm.
feel like it's allowed the other one. If the other one has slacked a bit, we kind of pull each other. And you're like, no, come back to the path.
Hmm.
Like there's a specific path that God has called us to. And yeah, I'm so happy we're doing this episode together because I don't think either of us would have been going so strong on being sober from alcohol for as long as we are if we didn't have each other to keep accountable.
Hmm.
And so I'm reading Matthew 7:13 through 14. You can enter God's kingdom only through the narrow gate. The highway to hell is broad and its gate is wide for many who choose that way. But the gateway to life is very narrow and the road is difficult and only a few find it. And it just reminds me of our friendship because it's a very narrow path, but I believe we have been put in each other's life as a gift from God to pull each other back to the path. So, if you want to talk about like your journey with med school and how sobriety played a role in your journey, do you feel like that led you to where you are now?
Yeah, I just think that when I made the decision to change my life, because that is a really, for me, it was a very life changing experience. everything changed in my life. For a long time, had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. I knew I wanted to do something with medicine, but I just didn't know what that looked like.
Mhm.
And I just was continuously searching and searching and searching. And then when I stopped drinking alcohol, it just felt like all the puzzle pieces came together and kind of painted this beautiful picture for me.
Mm.
And I just think it's really important to trust God's timing and everything, because everything just played out so perfectly and so just divine. Like, I
Mhm.
have divine tattooed on my right forearm, or my right arm, and I just love that word so much because it really just means, for me, like trusting in God's beauty, trusting God, divine timing, divine,
Mhm.
everything about God is divine.
Mhm.
Um and so yeah, I just think when I stopped the thing that was literally suppressing me, killing me, making me feel like I was nothing, worthless, again, in relationships and environments that I should have never been
Mhm.
in. When I took that out of the picture, God just provided everything that
Mm.
was meant for me. And He was like, you just weren't ready for that yet. You weren't ready to have what you have now. I want to preface, it's not alcohol that's the bad guy. I would say it's your relationship with
Mhm.
alcohol,
Mhm.
because the Bible doesn't say drinking alcohol is a sin. It's getting drunk that's a sin, and doing the things that you wouldn't normally do. You're
Mhm.
altering your state of mind to the point of doing these horrible things. And so I just want to preface that, because for me personally, it came to that point where I did not have that control with alcohol. I never did. It was like I would have one drink and then it would lead me to,
Mhm.
oh, half the bottle's gone. So it's just like I never was able to have that relationship with alcohol. And now I'm a completely different person. So it's like, is there a future where alcohol is something that comes back into my life? Maybe. I don't know. That's up to God. That's not up to me. Today I don't want it. Tomorrow, I don't know what tomorrow holds.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I think that's really important to recognize, that it's important to be here in the present moment.
Mhm.
And
Mhm. I think that's a really great point because I think when we first quit drinking, we were like, alcohol is like the enemy.
mhm.
But realistically, alcohol is not a sin. But if you're drinking to get drunk and if you're drinking to idolize it and it's a vice other than Christ, then it is an idol in your life.
Or
And
erase the pain,
mhm.
or use it as a
Mhm.
coping mechanism,
Mhm.
or use it to lift stress in your life, or
Mhm.
use it for anything other than, I'm at dinner right now. I would like to have a glass of wine because I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
God gives us things to enjoy. Like, yes,
Mhm.
but not to abuse. And I was abusing that. So
Mhm.
I had to take a step back. And I feel like I could potentially live the rest of my life without alcohol. But again, I don't know what tomorrow holds. And I just want to speak for myself today. And yeah.
Do you wanna tell them a little bit about, like, what you're studying in school and,
Yeah.
like, opening your eyes to, like, holistic health and
Mhm.
natural health?
So I think it's really funny when I look back at like college and when I was doing all the crazy stuff, when we were doing all the
Mhm.
crazy stuff, it was, you go out, you eat really bad food before you go out to have the alcohol get soaked up or whatever. And then in the morning you wake up feeling absolutely horrible. And then you medicate yourself and then also run a McDonald's and get whatever. And it's just crazy because when I just started removing these things from my life, God was just like, okay, here's another level. Here's another level for you to understand.
Mhm.
And then I completely fell down the rabbit hole of natural functional medicine. And so what does that mean? That means finding your innate healing with your body. The body is so powerful, so strong.
Mhm.
And when you constantly put things inside your body that are poisoning you, whether that's food, chemicals, drugs, alcohol, you are lowering your body's innate immune system. And so that's your choice. And I was choosing to do that for so, so long.
Mhm.
And so when I figured out through a podcast, it was called the Pharmacy Podcast at that point. Now it's Dr. Mark Hyman's podcast. If you're looking to dive into natural health, holistic medicine, I would say start there. A lot of people online talk about how, oh, all the people that are talking organic and
Mhm.
talking non-toxic and talking about this holistic way of healing, it's like a scare tactic. I've seen that a lot recently. It's like,
Mhm.
you're scaring people. Like, why are you saying about all this toxins and stuff? no, babe, it's just the truth. I'm just trying to use my platform, how little or how big it'll eventually be, to inform people, to get them to understand. Because when I was in the position of
Mhm.
doing everything that I was doing, I had no
Mhm.
idea of this whole world that unfortunately is all about chemicals, toxins, and things to suppress our immune system, which then in turn suppresses the mind and your connection, maybe even with God. So I just think turning to natural,
Mhm.
holistic medicine was just another one of God's gifts that He was able to open my eyes to. I always compare it to, it's not anywhere near the comparison of the glory that, God has for us, but like, your eyes are so closed and you have no idea of like what's going around until they're fully open and you see, oh my gosh, this is killing us. It's literally
Mhm.
killing us. And the same thing with just the relationship with God is like, you have no idea what's happening until your eyes are fully open
Mhm.
to knowing
Mhm.
how good God's love is. So
Wow. And do you feel like there's a correlation between drinking alcohol and not taking care of your health?
I think again, it's all about balance. But for me personally, I kind of have been struggling with that word balance because I think people can take that and be like, okay, I live most of my life really, healthy, nutritious, but then there's going to be times where I'm going to get blacked out drunk and do all this stuff. And that's balance. To me, that's not balance. I think balance is always waking up and prioritizing your health, your wellness, and well being. But if that looks a little bit different than your regular routine and habits, then that to me is what balance is. It's kind of getting off track a little bit, but that doesn't mean that all of your values and morals go out the door. So I
Mm.
think having a relationship, and again, it's really dependent on the person. If you have had an issue with alcohol, if people have told you like, hey, take a step back and look at this. If you even clicked on this video today, like that to me is a little itch that you should probably investigate a little further and give yourself grace. Like this is a very, very heavy topic and I want to be sure you know that. And you clicking on this video today and listening to this podcast today is just evidence enough that you do want to become your best
Mhm.
self. You're the best version of yourself. And it's no comparison game. Everyone's journey looks different.
Mhm.
And hey, like even looking at us, if we were able to control ourselves and have that healthy relationship with alcohol,
Mhm.
then okay, that could still technically be healthy.
Mhm.
Like it's all about that structured balance. That's the
Mhm.
way I really like to put it, is like a structured balance. Not the balance where it's like I said just a second ago, where it's like I'm living my life perfectly and then one of the days I completely throw everything out the door. And I just want to say I'm actively working on that too. I feel like
Mhm.
not with alcohol, but other things in my life with food or, my
Mhm.
motivation with the gym. Like I just want to get to that structured balance. So I think that's really important.
That's really good. I also have Proverbs 31 pulled up because it says, "It is not for kings, O Lemuel, to guzzle wine. Rulers should not crave alcohol, for if they drink, they may forget the law and not give justice to the oppressed. Alcohol is for the dying, and wine for those in bitter distress. Let them drink to forget their poverty and remember their troubles no more." I think that's really interesting. Do you think as a leader, you are held to a higher standard? Do you feel like that helps inspire you to like keep going with this?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I absolutely love when people reach out to me and say, hey, like the way that you're living is really inspiring me to make a change. So first, I think anyone could really, like, you could have 5 followers and that's still a platform where you could inspire those 5 people to make a difference, you know? And so, I think using whatever social media you may have or in life, like, let's say you're in your friend group, that could be a platform. Like, we don't
Mhm.
always have to look at platforms as, like, the social media aspect. Whatever you have control over in your life is your platform. So, I really love using my platform for inspiring people to make those healthy decisions, to make those healthy choices, to make the right decisions for their lives. And in a way that's like not judgmental ever, because I
Mhm.
was there and I was probably out of everyone the worst that was there. Like, trust me, if again,
I was up there as
if you know,
well.
you know. Like, so it's never coming out of a place of judgment. I know that there's someone on the other side of the screen that maybe seeing this story, maybe seeing this post will motivate them to make a few changes that will then propel them forward to a journey of healthier living, of getting closer to God, non-toxic living, of a sober life. And so
Mhm.
I think using your platform, whatever it may be, whatever stance you're at, to inspire and motivate people is the way to go, because social media is such a beautiful thing if you use it in the right ways. So yeah, I love posting my life and showing that sobriety can be so fun. You can still be a goofy goob and you don't need the
Yeah.
alcohol to kind of get you to that level.
Mhm.
One person that I'm thinking of in particular that he hasn't had a drink of alcohol in forever, and he's like the life of the party
Mhm.
wherever he's at. And
Mhm.
it's like, I love embodying that as well, because then
Mhm.
people are like shocked. At first, people will look at you like you're crazy. You're not drinking? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, boy, I'm not drinking. What?
Mhm.
Why would I be drinking right now? I can have fun without it.
Mhm.
And just kind of embodying that is like the best feeling ever.
For sure. I think so many times people think they need a substance to be their most like fun self.
Mhm.
And that's just like simply not true. I think alcohol will convince you that you need this thing in order to be outgoing, to be confident. If we make something else our vice, it's actually going to lead us more broken. So I remember there were times where I would try to get sober, and then there were times where I would be like, okay, I might be drinking again. And then I would like go through this battle of like, am I drinking tonight? Am I not drinking tonight? One thing I noticed after being sober, because I would take extended periods of time being sober and extended periods of time like drinking. And so when I would go from that transition to sobriety to drinking again, I noticed within 3 weeks, my confidence was already starting to go down because I started to think I need a drink to warm up, to be confident, to talk to people, when in reality, that actually does the opposite to your confidence because it makes you think you need something else to be your most authentic self. So I guess for someone who is like, they're not sober, they're looking to get sober, like, were you afraid to make that step? Were you afraid that you weren't going to be confident?
For
Like,
sure. I think there's always going to be that pressure of like, oh my gosh, what are these people going to think about me? Am I going to be the weirdo in the corner? Oh, you're drinking water? What a lame-o. Like, you know?
mhm,
And I think there's always going to be that pressure. But if you're living your life that way for a second, like, okay, there's moments where I still think, oh my gosh, what do those people think about me? But the more you kind of dial into, I really actually don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks of me besides the man upstairs,
mhm,
or my closest friends to me that I know will only propel me to the right level in my life.
mhm,
In the beginning, it's definitely hard, especially when you have a group of friends that is doing the exact opposite things of you. It is hard, but if you view it in the way of like, wait a minute, I can actually motivate my entire friend group to go sober, maybe even make one less drink a night. Maybe it is we come home a little bit earlier to get more sleep. Like, whatever it is, I think if you just know that God loves you, He made you just the way you are. You don't need validation from anybody else. And
mhm,
if there's people in your life that you are afraid to make this choice for yourself because you think, oh, they won't be friends with me anymore. Oh, they're not going to think I'm cool anymore or whatever. Those are not actually your real friends. Those are not actually people that are supposed to be in your life. And sometimes people walk away and people are only meant to be in certain chapters of your life. And that's
mhm,
okay. Like, you need to be okay with the fact that when you level up and when you grow, there might be some people that are left behind. And
mm,
I think that's totally okay. And who knows, maybe they will come back to in your life when they're ready to grow. But it's really important that you focus on your own lane and become the best version of yourself so that you can be that best person for other people. But you can't fill other
mm,
people's cup before you fill
mhm,
your own.
mhm. And I think that's like the beautiful thing about our friendship because that is like the reality. Sometimes you have to leave certain friendships behind. And sometimes friendships just don't serve you. But I think it's really beautiful that we were able to grow with each other on this journey. You feel like you had certain friendships where you realized they're not actually my friend. They only liked me because I partied and went out. And was it lonely getting sober?
So in the beginning, there was a lot of, attacks on me. Like I felt like I wasn't liked, or people liked the old version of me and they didn't want this new version of me. I was more fun back then. And like, definitely there were some people that gave me that vibe. But I think that as I grew into this new person of who I was always supposed to be, those people eventually did kind of accept that. And they were like, okay, this is the new Natalia. And actually she's better than ever before because she's healthier and the version of her that she's supposed to be. In the beginning, yeah, it was a little bit hard, but not because my friends were judgmental or hard on me. I think it was more so because it was like a very big shock. It was like a very 180 flip for me. I am married. I am in med school. I am like completely different than how I
Yeah.
was in college. Like in college, I was the girl that was home at 5 a.m. I was maybe in certain situations that I wasn't supposed to be in. I was the one that was causing a little bit of ruckus, a little bit of drama. Like that was me. And, I'm proud to admit that now because I still love that version of me because it was the version of me that created her. And
Mm,
it took me a while to get to that point though. Honestly, looking at that question now, it's not even the other people that kind of were hard on me. It was myself. I was the hardest on myself. I was the one that was like, oh my gosh, this is kind of
mhm,
crazy. I've changed a lot. Who even am I? Like, I
mhm,
was like,
mhm.
really, who am I? Am I not allowed to be this goofy, crazy girl anymore? Am I not allowed to, do this because I'm in med school? And I'm still figuring it out. And I think I'm always going to be figuring it out because I always want to level up to the next version
Mhm.
of myself.
Mhm.
And with God by myself pushing me even further because I know
Yeah.
He's got such big plans for me and for us and all the people
Mhm.
in my
Mhm.
life. And even now, the whole process of it all was, I feel like I was the hardest on myself and judging myself the most. And not until recently, when I took a step back from social media, I deleted all of my apps for about 2.5 months. I cleansed everything because I'm like, I need to cleanse. I need to cleanse my brain. What's going on? I'm so
Mhm.
confused. Who am I? And so just removing yourself from all of that and being able to sit back and be like, okay, God, tell me who I am. Give me a second to think.
Mhm.
And now coming back and just doing what I love just makes me so, so
Yeah.
happy. And yeah.
I will say, like, watching you go through this transformation, at the end of the day, like, when you remove things that are not good for you, you actually find your true self. And I feel like your personality is still the same.
Hmm.
Like, it's not that your personality is going to change, but actually the thing that was sucking and draining your energy is not going to be there anymore. So you're actually going to be more radiant, more full of life, and you could still be this goofy goober dancing on tables, and we still are. And that's why, like, no matter what, with substances or without, like, the friendship was real
Hmm.
and everything was real. And yeah, I guess my other question that I have is, you got sober before you got saved.
Hmm.
Do you feel like Jesus was convicting you? Now looking back, are you like, oh wow, that was God?
Hmm.
Or like, wow, I can't even believe that God was calling me for so long.
Hmm. Well, first, I just want to say, looking at you right now, you're so beautiful.
Uh,
And you're like glowing.
I
This
love
is
it.
like, this was like made for you. Like, seriously, you're such a good, this is just flowing so beautifully and perfectly. Like, this truly, I'm so proud of you. So I just wanted to say that. But,
I
anyways,
love you.
so for sure, for sure. The straight answer is yes. Like I, for the longest time, was so confused. I was so confused, man. Like I remember being in the car with my mom and my brother and being like, I don't even know if Jesus is real. Like, what are you guys talking about? For the longest time, I wanted to find something to help me. Like, I wanted to find a higher power, and I just didn't know, like, what that looked like. And so I resulted to other things, crystals, tarot,
Mhm.
spirituality in, like, the dark ways,
Mhm.
astrology, all of that. I was searching for that, and I thought that that gave me relief, and I thought that it brought me healing, but I realized that actually those times were some of the darkest times in my
Mhm.
life.
Mhm.
And God has always just been like pulling at my heart. I just remember wanting a relationship with God. I remember a few weeks before I, dedicated my life to Jesus, I was wanting that relationship so bad. I'm like, how do I get there? How do I get there? But I was still doing things that were so against God. Like I was still so confused on what it meant to live a life of, like, I remember we were going out one time and I'm like, why can't I wear this? Why can't I do this? Or why can't I, and it's just like now, obviously I'm still learning and I'm still growing and I still have a lot of convictions that I face on the daily where and I think that's part of the whole spiritual journey with God is you try to get closer with him by figuring out yourself, right? But I think from the very beginning, honestly, there was signs of him throughout my life, and I'm just so happy that the timing happened the way that it did. And
Mhm.
if you're searching and you're really trying to get that relationship with God, but like if you don't do the things, if you don't go to church, if you don't read your Bible, if you don't listen to the right music, if you don't do the things that make that relationship stronger, then like how do you expect to build a relationship with God? He's gonna try over and over and over again, but like if you don't lay down the things and get closer to him, there's no way that he can really get to you because there's walls and blocks.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
remove those walls and blocks and then slowly he'll come into your life. He wants that relationship with you, right? I'm so happy that like I have the Holy Spirit so heavy in me where it's like I could be confused about something and then I'm like, okay, God, do your thing. And then he gives me the answer like almost instantaneously of like what I feel and what I know. It's just truth. And I'm just so grateful for that.
Mhm.
And everyone has their own journey with God. So don't be hard on yourself and give yourself grace.
Yeah. No, that's really good. 'Cause, yeah, I got sober too before I even found God, before we found Jesus, and now looking back, I realized these were convictions, and convictions aren't these like scary things, but it's a way that God will protect us
Mhm.
because we're sensitive to the things that He wants for us. And the things that are hurting us, He wants us to know. He'll gently give us convictions like, hey, these are not the best for you. This is hurting you. And when you actually listen to the convictions, I believe we were so lost in such a dark place for so long that we were like, this is not working anymore.
Mhm.
And because it wasn't working, we started taking a step into the right direction. And I believe it was God guiding us to Him in such a loving way. Um, and also, do you want to talk a little bit about how God has just put us in each other's life and the parallel journey
Mhm.
that we've been on together?
Yeah. So Dolly and I have always had, I always say same but different. Same but different. We're always going through kind of similar situations in life, which is really funny. And I also just want to say, if you had a hard time, like with friends or whatever, just like really pray for that friendship and really pray for that girl's girl to come into your life, that sister in Christ. I feel like we've never really talked about this. Maybe we have, but I don't know. Just like how hard a time we had with making friends. Like we both had a very hard time with
Mm-hmm.
girlfriends in our life. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's also interesting is like there you can go through having not the best relationships. You can put your heart on the line for people and people will take advantage of that. And as long as you stay true to who you are, God will see that and he will put that perfect little dolly in your life, put that perfect little friend in your life that will be there for you. And yeah, so I just think it's very interesting. But going back to how this all kind of started, I guess, my relationship with God. Yeah, I was seeking for a very, very long time. I wasn't doing the good things to, build that relationship with God. And I was just so lost. And I remember it was like my birthday weekend. I came into the city and Dolly and a few of my other friends, we went out to dinner and I just kind of opened up to them about something I was struggling with. And it was really hard for me because I had been struggling with it for quite some time. And I just asked for like prayers. And then the next morning was, church Sunday. And I would usually fall back into my bad habits. And Dolly was like, not today, not today, not today. And so she prayed really, really hard over me. And I went to church and I listened to the sermon. I sang a little bit, felt a little uncomfy, but I still did it. And then at the end, they say it in a much, more
The altar
prophetic.
call.
Yeah, the altar call, much more prophetic and beautiful way. But I was
Yeah.
like, me, save me, Jesus. And yeah, ever since then, I never struggled with that thing again. And I just
Mm.
decided to give that to God and let him take it from me. And that's the thing, like, you do not have to do this alone. Like
Mhm.
that is
Mhm.
like one thing that I just wish people that were struggling with addiction or depression, anxiety. I know it's so much easier said than done, but like, you really don't have to do it alone. You really can just give your life to God and like let him do it for you.
Mhm.
Let him heal you, let him guide you, let him save you. Like, you are
Mhm.
not going to save yourself. No one is going to save you but God. So when I decided to do that, it just catapulted me into a new way of life and living, and just having him by my side and just having him be there for me every single day. Listen, the last 6 months have been probably some of the hardest times of my life. Okay. But look at me. Thank you,
Mhm.
God. Thank you, Jesus, for that. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's been a lot of
Pruning.
situations that have come into play into my life recently that if it wasn't for God and if I didn't have him as my base, my foundation, my firm, strong standing, I don't know where I would be, because
Mhm.
without that, I would have nothing.
Mhm. And without God, you would probably run back to the vices.
For sure. Quickly. Like that.
Yeah.
And so that is the truth right there.
Wow. Yeah, and that's actually crazy because it was around, like, the end of January,
Mhm.
or was it February?
It was so my birthday, so it was February 2nd.
February
Mhm.
2nd, and then I got saved the beginning of September. So that's crazy because I felt like I could have conversations with you about this,
Mhm.
and you were very receptive to it. But going back to what you were saying, where it's like you don't have to do it alone. It's like if you want to get sober, literally all you need to do is to give your life to Jesus. As soon as you give your life to Jesus, the Holy Spirit comes and dwells inside of you, and you truly do not have to do this alone. You have a helper. He's a supernatural helper. If you believe in the spiritual realm and you're on like a new age spiritual journey, there is like a bad fight and a good fight. And when you have the Holy Spirit, that is like the Holy Spirit. It's what raised Christ from the dead. And now you have that spirit in you that could help you overcome anything. And it's like, I'm going through it right now as well. Like being on this journey with Christ, it's like you are walking through the fire. He is pruning you. He's putting you under so much pressure to mold you. So it's like, I have to remind myself when I'm going through things, like, I don't have to do it my old way anymore. Like, I have you to help me.
Mm.
Is that something you have to like remind yourself that you're not doing it alone?
Mhm. Yeah, I think don't be deceived to the point where it's like you have God in your life and everything's going to be holy and magical and great all the time. That's not how it works. Like, even when you do have God in your life, you will still go through these crazy experiences because we do live on earth, right? We're not in heaven. We are on earth. We are living the human experience. And even with God as my firm foundation, going to your question, when I go through things, my first instinct sometimes is, okay, I got God, I got God. But most times, the first thing I think is, oh my gosh, this is horrible. What a normal person would think, like, you have these emotions, you're going to feel the things, but it's how you rebound from that, how
Mm,
you take that emotion, and then you can give it to God, and then you can be like, okay, I felt the things, because it would be a lie if I were to sit here and say, oh yeah, horrible things happen to me, but God's got my back, so I feel nothing. I feel happy and joyful all the time. No, that's not how it works. You will feel sad. You will feel grief. You will feel depressed at times. You will feel anxious. But it's the fact that God is there to help you and lift you through all of the things and just get
mhm,
you past that point. Because a lot of times without God, you would sit there and dwell there for like months, even years, days, whatever it is. But now with God, it's like I go through these things, I feel the things, and then I let myself feel it. But then I'm like, okay, God, please get me out of this. I need your help. But when I go through those things, I just ask for God's help. And that's what like really takes me out of it. And going back to the alcohol, I think that there are times, I know I said in the beginning, where it's like, I don't know what tomorrow holds. I don't know what the next few years hold. But right now, let's say you're on your sober journey already and you needed like a little bit of a pick me up. And that's why you clicked on this podcast or video. There are definitely times where I'm like, everybody's drinking. What are those coffee drinks?
Mocktails?
No.
Espresso martinis.
Espresso martini! I miss my espresso martinis. Those were so good. And so I'm like thinking sometimes, like the last time where I felt a lot of pressure, I went to on a bachelorette party weekend and everyone had like a nice little drinky dink. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would love an espresso martini right now. And like I ordered a mocktail espresso martini. They just don't hit the same. I'm going to be quite honest for you. Like for me, mocktails are not a thing. Like I don't like mocktails. For me, those are empty calories. Like it doesn't taste good half the time. I know you're a mocktail girl. You like your mocktails. But like for me.
No, but I have been kind of weaning off of them because there's so much sugar.
Yeah. And I mean, if you make it your own way and you make it tasty and good, I just like haven't found the time to do that. There are times where I do crave it sometimes. And then I sit back and I'm like, okay, let me think. If I were to drink this right now, would that make me feel good tomorrow? Would I be happy about this later today? Because if this is just going to be like a quick little, ooh, like, I just want to drink this because everyone else is drinking. No. But, let's say down the line in a few years or in a few months or whatever it is, if I'm sitting there and I've thought about it for quite some time and if I do want to have a drink, I think that's okay. Like it's again about your relationship with alcohol. When I was at that bachelor's trip, that was me potentially falling under the pressure that not even anyone else was giving, but again, what I was giving myself. I was pressuring myself. Everyone else is drinking. I think it would be fun if I had a little drink. No, like that's not the case. So yeah.
No, I kind of been feeling that pressure again arising lately because I don't really go out with the same friends that I still have a lot of the same friends from college who I partied with, and they're truly like my family. But being a part of like my church community and like going out with them, we were just at a birthday dinner and people are drinking, I mean, people aren't getting drunk, but people are drinking. And I'm like, oh, like Christians drink? So it is interesting because it really goes back to that drinking in itself is bad, but our dynamic and our relationship with it was bad. And so maybe there will be a point where we can have a drink or a glass of champagne as like a celebratory toast or something. But I do think it was very necessary for us to stop drinking when we did. And I look at the college kids now, like they are drinking and it's horrible. And I really would rather people just not drink at all than go down that hole of going to get blackout in college and thinking that's the life. Because I know that's still going on to this day. College is one of the most dangerous places because if you want to stay sober and you're around everyone that is drinking and taking shots, it's going to be very, very difficult. What is one piece of advice you would give to a college student who wants to get sober, but everyone around them is drinking? There's like sororities and frats and like sports teams and just being new and trying to make friends and stay true to what they want and their convictions.
Yeah, so I would say, to be honest, nobody's really paying attention to you that much. Like you don't have to announce to the whole world that you're not drinking, right? I did because I'm that person. Like I'm not drinking, everybody. I'm posting it on my story. I want everybody to know. But like you don't have to be that way. You can literally go out and have a little cup and pour yourself some sparkling soda with a lime. Nobody's going to know the difference. Really, nobody's walking around sniffing each other's drinks, right? I know that there's like sororities and fraternities where like you are almost sometimes forced to drink, but you can one, remove yourself from that situation. And two, again, nobody will tell the difference if you're drinking or not. And if those people are pressuring you to do it, then maybe those aren't your true friends and maybe reevaluate your situation and because I promise, like if I were to come to this lifestyle a lot sooner, like again, I believe in God's timing and everything, but if you can get a hold of this now, like again, you clicked on this video for a reason and this podcast for a reason. You can get ahead of the game. Do it for yourself. Do it for your future friends. Do it for your friends now. Do it to inspire everyone around you. You can do it.
Yeah. And just stay true. Stay true to your morals and to your beliefs, because I had a friend, she was one of our good friends from college, and she was not on the same vibe that we were all on. And because she wasn't, she actually was able to have a conversation with me like about my drinking, and she was like, "Hey, like what's going on? Like why are you drinking like this?" And I talk about this quite frequently because she called me higher in that moment. And actually, I broke down and I was like, "You're right. I don't know why I'm drinking like this. I don't know why I'm drinking to black out. I don't know why I'm doing this." And in that moment, nothing changed on the surface, but it planted a seed in me, and eventually it led me to getting sober. And I will forever be grateful for that moment. So if you are someone like that, you could eventually be having a domino effect on people around you that you love. And in college, it's so hard. It's so hard. You want to fit in, you want to make friends. But I'm telling you, don't go to college and waste 4 years doing things that are going to ruin your body and take you further and further away from your purpose. It's so hard to be around temptation. It is. We live in a fallen world, like you were saying, but we need to find purpose. We need to understand why we're doing these things, because before you know it, you're going to be graduating and you're going to be even more confused. And I think that's what happens is people graduate from college. They don't even know what they're doing with their life because they just went to school for 4 years to party, to get drunk, thinking it's this like 4 year like vacation, when in reality, it's actually 4 years of your life. Do you feel like when you graduated college, you were confused in your purpose and direction, and it took you time to figure that out?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like after college, I knew I wanted to be in the medical field, but I had no idea how I would get there. Luckily, my mom, shout out mama, she was really prominent on, you need to pick a major that's going to get you a job right after you graduate. And at the time I was like so annoyed with her because I wanted to like just major in whatever. And I picked medical laboratory sciences, which is so niche, and it does get you a job right after. So if all else failed, I would be working in the laboratory, testing blood, stool, urine, and like behind a little laboratory with like a microscope and stuff. And that just like was not my vibe at all. I'm very much so people's person. I love to chat to people. I love to talk to people, but it still gave me that backup of just in case all else fails. But I will say, even with that, I graduated and I was like, I definitely don't want to do that. And I feel like that resonates with a lot of people. You graduate college and you're like, I don't want to do anything with this major. I have no idea what I can even do. If you have a business major, biology, like what are you going to do with that, right? So yeah, that's a really hard question because I
Well,
think
do
it
you
just,
think because when you were drinking and partying, you're not thinking about the future? You're just so focused in the moment.
yeah. And I think again, like this is coming from two girls that completely lived that whole experience. Like we partied sometimes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Like I'm not kidding. So don't feel pressure if that's your reality right now and that's what you're living through. It's okay. Just take a step back and reevaluate and maybe write yourself out a plan, a list. Where do I want to see myself in the next 5 years? Just do 5 years. And does that story include your current lifestyle right now? If you can get to your goals in 5 years with your current lifestyle right now, maybe you don't have to change anything. But if you write down this list and envision yourself where you're living, where you work, who are the people that surround you, and if your current lifestyle is nowhere near that, then you have some changes to do.
How old were you when you first drank alcohol?
I think like 15 or 16. I remember, oh man. Yeah, the one of the worst experiences ever was, getting introduced to alcohol at such a young age, and it's just so normalized now. And I've always had this issue. I was never the person that could just have a few drinks. I was like, give me that bottle. Let me drink it from the spout. Like,
No, I
who
was
does
so
that?
bad as well. I was horrible. I started drinking when I was like 15, I think 14 or 15, and we would get picked up by the junior boys. Literally, the summer going into freshman year, they would pick us up. We would sneak out. We would literally put my fake hair extensions under the blankets and like we would sneak out. And I remember like going to my friend's house, going to the fridge and like chugging a bottle of Bacardi. Like, what? And I would just chug, and that was it. That's all I needed. I was just hammered the whole night. And I was 15. And then, like, yeah, it started a very toxic drinking pattern, probably from the beginning.
Yeah, I agree. It's a crazy life that was.
Drinking definitely clouds your vision. It clouds so many things, and it puts you in very dangerous situations. And I think it's very important to be like honest about like what has happened. And I do believe God kept us safe, even in all of our really poor and scary decisions. Yeah, I'm just very grateful that we've made it to this side of things. Is there anything you want to add to sobriety?
Yeah, I think a big portion of this journey also was having people around you. I know we touched on it a little bit, but having people around you that really do support you and motivate you forward. And it can be scary, especially in the dating realm, in the
Mm,
married life, and
mm,
especially having a partner that maybe isn't on the same wavelength and does choose a different lifestyle than you, where one person is completely sober. And you have to realize that just because you choose this life doesn't mean that everybody around you is going to choose this life. And as long as the people around you that you love do have a healthy relationship with alcohol, I think it's really important to not pressure people into choosing a lifestyle that maybe isn't meant for them, because just because you have a problem with something doesn't mean that other people have a problem with something. And I'm saying that with like the biggest heart and all the love, because that's something that I really struggled with, is choosing this life of sobriety, but then having people around me that weren't. And in the beginning, I was judgmental. I was like, why aren't they doing this? And it's just so funny because when the people were coming to me and telling me, hey, like, you should reevaluate your choices, I was so thrown off by that. So I just think it's really important to
mm,
stay in your own lane and work on you, even if you're married, even if you have a boyfriend or girlfriend, even if you're single and you're dating, or if you're not even dating, just focus on yourself and try to get to the best version of yourself before you try to like inspire others, and make sure it's coming from a place of love, not judgment. That's something that I really work on every day, and it's just the truth. We're human and we're very prone to just doing these human emotions of like jealousy or judgment. It's just wired in us, but it's very important to take a step back and have God be there for you to help you with those emotions.
mm,
Now I ask God to help me with that, and it's been dealt with, and now we can go out and have a good time, and he can drink and I don't have to, and that's okay. So I
mm,
just really wanted to mention that too, because I think it's really important to work on yourself before you judge or try to change other people, and make sure
mhm.
it's always coming from a place of love.
Yeah, that's really good. I also think like with dating, sometimes people think, "Oh my gosh, I have to be sober on this date." Um, but I'm telling you, it is such a beautiful thing to be sober on a date. I've gone on dates with guys and certain people who make you very nervous. That is like your body and God's way of telling you it's a no. Like truly it's a no, because I pray that the person that I'm supposed to be with will bring me peace. And when you're drinking, you're masking that. So you actually can't see clearly of who you're actually sitting on the date with. And so when you experience that anxiety, which sometimes it will happen when you start dating again, and that's totally normal, but to like have to drink on the date, you're actually clouding your mind so much and you're not seeing this person for who they really are, because maybe you don't want them to see you for who you really are. So you got to get really good with yourself. And then there will be people where you just click right away and you could tell because there's no alcohol involved. You'll be like, oh my gosh, wow, I'm not even nervous at all. This person literally gives me so much peace. And then you could gauge based on that. Instead of going on dates with people, I used to go on dates with people and we'd drink and it'd be a fun time. But then it's like, are we even compatible? We could just have a fun time because drinking lowers our guard. And the guard is supposed to be there for a reason. We're not supposed to just go on one date with someone and be like, oh my gosh, like we're like so buddy buddy already. And that's what I think sometimes alcohol does is it lowers our like guard a little bit. And I think sometimes like we need to ease into things and things are supposed to be a slow burn and things are supposed to take time. And I think people don't want to feel that discomfort. That's why we would pregame. Like we would drink before we even went out because nobody wanted to feel discomfort. So you mask the discomfort with the alcohol. And that's like the thing. You got to get really clear. Like, am I drinking to mask the discomfort? Am I lacking confidence? Or am I drinking because I just want to have a drink or two, not to get drunk? Because I think that was a big thing I realized when I got sober is, wow, like I'm not pre-gaming. I'm not drinking before the event. I'm actually warming up naturally to the event. We don't have to get crazy before the event even starts. And so, yeah, do you think that was something you used to do? Would like drink so it would block the discomfort?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Mm,
I would make sure that, I had a few drinks before because, oh my gosh, it's going to be more fun. Oh my gosh, I'm going to let loose and be crazier and all this stuff. But then you make horrible decisions. And then it just doesn't lead to a good, happy, narrow path that leads to a lot of destruction, chaos. You want the
yeah.
peace, the joy, the happiness, the love. And with
Mhm.
alcohol, you will not find that if you have an
Mhm.
unhealthy relationship with it. We're not sitting here saying that everyone needs to be sober, at least I think, right? Like, be
No,
sober.
no.
You want everyone to be sober.
In the Bible, it talks about sobriety. Alcohol, having a drink or two of alcohol doesn't make you not sober. If you smoke weed, if you like take drugs, you're not sober.
And so do you think that if someone has a healthy relationship with alcohol and has like a drink at dinner?
I don't think that makes them drunk.
Oh, okay. So we're on the same page. I thought that you meant like sober means like no drinks at all. Like,
No, no,
never.
you could have
That's what I'm saying too. We're on the same page, yeah.
okay, okay. Because that is a clear distinction where it's like, why can you have a couple drinks, but why can't you smoke weed and be sober? You
Mhm.
know? Or those things. I think for me personally, I'm just like a tiny girl. Like I'm just a tiny
Oh yeah,
human.
that's a big thing too. Everyone's limits are different. Like just because let's say we were back in time, right? And I had 3 drinks or something. Those 3 drinks can make Dolly drunk maybe.
There was one time at Maggie's, that was the Irish pub, but I think I had 6 Irish car bombs within like a 2 guys, that's like so not good. I like did not even like consider the fact that I was tiny. And now, if I were to even have one drink, I would probably feel a buzz for sure. So it's like, I think for me, that line is so fine because I don't want to feel the effects of alcohol
Mhm.
at all, even if I was sober still, you know? Because I'm like, for me, it's such a fine line.
Yeah, there's a lot of healing I still got to do before I even come into the question of, is alcohol meant to be in my life or not? And I'm proud to say that I'm healing and I'm growing. So you even clicking on this today just shows that you do want to find that path and that
Mhm.
you do want to get closer to yourself and who you are and who you're meant to be. So be proud of yourself,
Yeah.
love yourself, be so, so proud that you
Mhm.
are who you are and just continuously try to get better, even if it's one day, 1 second at a time. Like,
Mhm.
just make good
Mhm.
choices.
Yeah.
Sometimes that might mean staying home when everyone else is going out. Read a book, listen to a
Mhm.
podcast.
Go to a museum. Ooh, I'm excited to see these questions.
What do you do that's fun now that doesn't involve alcohol?
Ooh, that's a really good question. Hmm. I love spending time with my friends. I really love a good worship night. I think worship nights are really fun. I love thrifting. I love styling outfits. I have all this energy, all this time that I was wasting drinking and partying on the weekends. And now I get to have a podcast. I think this is so fun. Like, this is like a passion hobby. I get to vlog. I just started my vlog channel again.
Subscribe.
So I think those things are fun.
What have you learned about yourself since
Mm.
stopping the alcohol abuse?
Since stopping the alcohol abuse, that's crazy.
This is not a funny joke.
No,
this is real life.
I feel like I've learned so much about myself. I think I've learned how disciplined I am. And if I set my mind to something, I could really do it.
That part.
And yeah, I think nothing blocks me from seeing my true self. Like there's a mirror in front of me, I have to face it. And so when things come up, I can't run to what I used to run to. I have to run to God, and he shows me who I am. So I've been learning my identity in Christ and in him. And as a result, it has been so beautiful, and I actually grow into the person that he has created me to be. Okay, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this episode on sobriety. Thank you so much for being here and being my first official guest. Wait, this is so exciting.
Guys, mark my words right here, right now. This podcast is gonna just explode and be great, and just in God's name, in Jesus' mighty name, amen.
In Jesus' name. Guys, thank you so much. I just pray that anyone who's listening, I pray that this plants a good seed for you. And I pray if you are struggling to get sober, I pray that this encourages you to take that first step. And yeah, we were there. Like, look at us. Like, look at where we are now on our journey. Now. She's in med school. Like, this whole transformation. And if you guys are struggling, like, Jesus is the answer, and the Holy Spirit will help you get through everything. And so, yeah, I just love you guys so much. And I'm so grateful to have had you be my first guest. Like, truly, I'm so excited for this episode.
This was so much fun. But the last thing I will say really quick is if you guys are new to this podcast, or if you're coming back and this is not the first time you've heard Dolly speak, I just want to say this girly is just so pure, and she will never guide you in a wrong direction. She just always uses the love and the light that God has given her to guide people. She's helped me so much in life, just having her as my best friend. And she truly wants all of you guys to be her little best friends too. I just know so wholeheartedly that this podcast is going to help so many girls out there, and just give it a shot to just listen wholeheartedly, openly, and just know that this girl is just going to guide you to bigger and better things, because she's using her life, the things that she's been through and what she has gone through, to really uplift and help others. And this is not coming from people that have never been there before. We've been there. We've been in the dumps. We've been through the depression. We've been through the anxiety, and we got you, girl. So.
And I also just want to say, like, if you do not know who Natalia is, she is incredible. Like, I'm just so blessed and honored to have you as my best friend. And she posts vlogs, and she's very active on her social media, and she's just so inspiring. Like, you are in med school, you're doing 2 doctorate degrees, you're a wife. I was going to say a mother.
I am a mother. I have a baby, Mila, and Felix and Carlos.
Yeah, she's a mother of, like, her animals, of her 2 cats.
And God willing, babies in the future.
Oh, you have a trainer right now. Yeah. Shout out to Lauren. Yeah. So she is just a multifaceted, high-capacity individual, and she will just inspire you to take your life to the next level. And
when you say it like that.
And I just truly thank you for being on this podcast and just really being open to answering questions from the depth of your heart, because I know it's not always easy to be vulnerable. I know it's not always easy to show people where you were and to have them now see you where you are, and you're just radiating. You just truly, she has the Jesus glow. And yeah, where can they find you?
My Instagram is just my first and last name, but without the A. So NATALIA RADON on Instagram. And then YouTube is just Natalia Radon. And yeah, TikTok is Natalia's TikTok. I just post funny, goofy things on there. It's not really that deep, but yeah, I'm so happy that you invited me here. And if this could even help one person, that's like always my story and my journey with social media, is if I can reach one person and just help them and inspire them, and because so many people have done that for me, that makes me happy.
Yeah, and I will be plugging all of her social medias below for you guys, so definitely go and give her a follow, subscribe to her channel. And yeah, I just want to thank you guys again for tuning in. We love you guys so much, and I will see you on the next episode.
Bye. if you have a bad relationship with it, because it can do harm.
Harm.
That was
That was harmony.
good.
That was